Welcome to the screening. Today's screening will be The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Hey everybody, and welcome back to The Screening. I am your humble and eloquent host, Cooper Cobbs. That over there, Matthew Killingsworth. How you doing, Matthew?
Howdy. Doing just fine.
Why don't you introduce our third person?
Our third person on the screening tonight will be joining us, Isaiah Ryatsky.
Hello.
How you doing, Isaiah?
Hello.
Doing pretty good. How about
If
you?
you were to spell out his intro, it would be HELLOOOOOOO. Hello. You know?
I thought it was more like HELLE, something like that.
That was a different one.
Yeah. Well, here we are. We're talking about The Hobbit, trying to get done with these movies. So, by the way, I should do an announcement.
Announcement.
Star Wars. Yep. All of them.
We're doing every single Star Wars movie.
Two donors. Matthew finally pulled some more weight and got Mr. Killingsworth.
Oh, come
Matthew's
on.
dad.
I actually didn't do anything. I didn't know he was going to do that.
Yeah, well, he's making us do Star Wars. Well, not making us. It's our goal. We got over our $25 goal, and we're doing Star Wars.
Yeah. So,
yep.
Thanks. Already bonus donor shout out at the beginning there. Nice job.
That's right. But before we get to Star Wars, we got to finish talking about these stupid Hobbit movies. And today is the stupidest of them all.
Cooper.
The Desolation
This one's actually my favorite one.
Of Smaug. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Matthew, you said it's your favorite. Defend your stance.
Well, actually...
Defend your heresy.
So, I realized when we were watching, it's actually not my favorite.
You literally just said 2 seconds ago it was your favorite.
Yeah, because I forgot. So, I was watching Isaiah's House like last week, and so I thought at the very end was when Smaug like goes to the, what's it called, Lake Town, and like starts blowing fire everywhere, and then they kill him with an arrow.
Yeah.
I thought that was in this movie. It wasn't.
No.
It was in the third one.
That's right.
So I guess the third one's actually my favorite. But that's the reason that it was my favorite. But yeah, watching it is pretty stupid.
That's right. It is. Isaiah, what are your...
They added so much stuff that wasn't in the book.
And believe me, we will talk about it. But first, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I mean, it was a good movie, but like this storyline, if you would have read, like if you'd have just watched these movies without reading the book, it'd have been a good movie or anything like that. But since we read the book and all that, man, they added a lot.
And it's not even like good adding. Like it's bad.
No.
It's bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's unnecessary, and it almost makes it worse.
Oh, it makes it worse. That's why. That's the only reason this movie is not my favorite. It's because this is in my opinion, the most entertaining of the three. But I'm like, I cannot.
Yeah, fair enough.
Give you the dignity because of this.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
I hate when any movie does that. That's based off of a book. Drives me crazy.
Yeah, we are those people. We are those.
Which is why, I mean, we probably won't be talking about Harry Potter on here for a while. But I hate how much they changed.
You know what? Let's go ahead and hop into it. Let's talk about what is wrong with this movie, because that's what this episode is going to be about. If you have any shred of respect left for this movie, do not listen to the rest of this episode. Okay, so let's talk about...
Well, I'll talk about this in a little bit, but I do have a tiny shred of respect left for this movie. I'll explain.
Oh, yeah?
You
won't.
Do you want me to explain right now?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so, like we're going to talk about, I'm sure, in just a few minutes, there's a lot of added stuff and changed stuff and a lot of stuff wrong with this movie, however entertaining it may be. But I do have some respect for it, which is, one, that it is entertaining, and two, that I actually liked the end of this movie. Like, the last few scenes when Bilbo actually goes into the mountain and meets Smaug, I love all the scenes with Smaug in them. I think they're really well done. That's the respect I have for this movie. But, you know, the journey, yeah, we'll get into it now, but, like, I'll let y'all say what you want to say. But I did respect the end scenes like that. All right, why don't y'all go ahead and say what y'all want to say?
I really wish Tanner was on for this one because he would destroy this movie. He would remove the ounce of respect that Matthew has left for that movie. Like I said, I'm willing to give it as the most entertaining of the three, but so let's get into it.
Really?
Obviously, I think the main offender.
Third one's most entertaining.
No. Actually, I know we're doing a lot of stuff in here, but so there's supposed to be just 2 Hobbit movies, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's supposed to be just 2.
There was.
Then they turned it into 3, right? That's what this movie is. Probably the longest of them, right? I mean, and like a lot happens. Like, there's a lot happening in here,
you're right.
And I remember watching it and like, wait, wow, there's a lot left in this movie. Watching it for just like even 40 minutes, you're like, gosh, there is a full movie left. So, yeah, and then at the end, they're like, oh wait,
and I have extended edition.
That's right. And then at the end...
Yeah, me and Isaiah watched like a 3.5 hour version.
At the end, they're like, oh wait, we have to have 3 movies. So that's why we make the third movie out of like literally nothing. And this is my 2 cents. I think if they had not added all this crap, that I think they would have been able to make 2 Hobbit movies.
Make it in 2 movies. Yeah, that's
at
probably
least 2
true.
really long movies. But so let's talk about.
Well, they're all really long anyway, so.
Let's talk about it. So obviously, I think the main offender is the elf dwarf love story. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
It's just unnecessary.
Pointless.
They tried to make it like all. They tried to make like some drama in there, and they had like that, and it wasn't just they had the elf and the dwarf, falling in love and whatever, and having like their little love-hate relationship type thing, but then they tried to make it, I don't know, complicated or something.
Yeah, they tried to do like a
throwing
Legolas, kind of like a pick.
Throwing in how Legolas, who wasn't even supposed to be there, was like the guy she was supposed to choose. I don't know.
And then the dad was like, no.
Yeah.
So Isaiah,
I was like, stop trying to make this something. It's not something.
Isaiah,
stop.
You said it was pointless, but why do you think that Peter Jackson did do this move?
I mean, I guess to make it more interesting for some people who like that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's the only reason I can think of.
I agree.
And honestly, like his target audience, I thought was like Tolkien nerds. But
yeah, exactly. That's what I think it should be. Because like, who's gonna go spend that many hours watching 3 Hobbit movies if they're not like nerds about it, or if their friends force them to do it for a podcast?
But I will say, you've seen these before. But I will say that Lord of the Rings, I think, was more geared towards these, and these Hobbit movies weren't as that so much. But I mean, like, how would you come up with that? You're like,
yeah, I know.
Wonder how we can make an action-filled movie even better. Oh, wait a minute.
That is not how you make it better.
I know.
Well, I mean, little like side love stories and stuff definitely work for some action movies, but not like a heavy mystical fantasy type thing,
And like just
especially when it's already it's already a story. You don't even have to do anything as a director besides like find actors and costumes, Like,
yeah,
I'm sure there's way more. I don't know what it's like to be a director, but I'm saying stop trying to do more than you have to.
Yeah. So over the summer, I watched the Maze Runner movies. I'd read the books. I mean, they're not too good, but they differ wildly from the books, and it made me think like, wow, Peter Jackson actually kind of stayed close to the book. And then I watched them again for this, and I was like, no, he didn't. Like, I think The Hobbit, like in my first couple watches, kind of stayed close to the book, and then I was like, hold on.
Yeah, he definitely didn't. And I mean, maybe he stayed close on some things, but like he changed a lot of big things or added a lot of big things that play like such important roles in the movies that like for actual Tolkien nerds that are like, all about the books and stuff, then it's just like, I don't know. I know the feeling, not from this, but from Harry Potter, because I'm definitely a big Harry Potter nerd, and like when I like read all the books and like find all the connections and stuff, and they like either don't have stuff in the movies or add different stuff, I'm like, I don't care about that. Like, I just want to see the visual representation of what I'm reading.
Right. kind of what Star Wars tried to do with Solo. They tried to do a bunch of like fan service and it totally like failed. That part of the movie did at least, but
Yeah.
I won't talk about it
Because I guess we will talk about. But I mean, like they added Darth Maul back in, and you've seen like the what are those called? How it should have ended for it.
Oh, no.
They're like, Darth Maul, how are you back? Oh, a bunch of fans revived me. Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's so stupid. But anyway, so this movie opens a little differently too. It kind of flashes back to when Thorin and Gandalf were meeting. Do you guys kind of like how that opened a little bit?
Yeah, I thought that part was
it explained
good.
how like Thorin met Gandalf and how the whole journey thing started.
Right, and that's what you can do as a director. You can make creative sequences or creative scenes in movies without adding a whole bunch of stuff if you're basing it off of something else. Like,
actually, that scene is canon. Like, so much for nerd. I read the appendix in the back of Return of the King, and that's actually a real thing that happened.
Oh, in Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. But I mean, I thought that part was good. They did a good job.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny how there's like all the guys coming up, and he's just like sitting alone at a table, and then he kind of sees them, but then Gandalf comes and they all just like disappear.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, an old man in a goofy hat. Well, that's scary.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? Oh, yes. It kind of also clarifies this plan. I think we're talking about it in Unexpected Journey Part 1, how, like, what exactly is their plan? But this kind of clarifies they're trying to get the Arkenstone. And so I guess that's kind of why they also made this scene, too. Also, so Beorn, kind of weird, huh? I thought it was kind of cool. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Beorn.
Who's that?
The bear.
Bear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that guy, actually.
Yeah, he's got a really weird face and stuff, but...
Definitely. You're so mean.
Yeah. So,
yeah, because, well, I mean...
I'm on a podcast. Talking about movies.
It was good for the character, though, definitely. Because if you're imagining a guy who can turn into a bear and then turn back, you'd think of him as like a hairy, gruffy guy.
That's pretty much what he is.
Yep.
That's right. Also, Mirkwood. So they try to do like a more mystical kind of creepy than more of like a dark creepy. What do you guys think about that decision?
I thought. I mean, wait, which movies came out first? These are the Harry Potter ones because that was basically copying the scene from.
No, it was Harry Potter came out first.
Yeah, that was basically copying the scene from the Chamber of Secrets. You know, they go into the forest and it's all creepy.
No, but to be fair, like the book, Harry Potter probably copied The Hobbit. We're not getting.
We're not talking about books here.
I know, but like they're based off of books, so.
But I mean, you were talking about how they changed it from the book and made it different in the movie and tried to make it more creepy.
Yeah, right. Like in the book, yeah, it's really creepy, I guess, and you can't see almost anything really.
Yeah, but you have to be able to see the characters in the movie. Like, if not, what's the point of just seeing a black screen and hearing all the noise?
No, I know, but like, there's visual ways you can do it.
Yeah, there was visual.
Went for like a colorful, mystical, magical kind of thing than a dark and creepy.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, well, you're right. Because then they also did the thing where like they kind of like started getting drowsy or like whatever because of the magic.
Honestly, I would have preferred the dark stuff, to be honest.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they couldn't have really made it. They couldn't have really made it good with that. You know, I think if they were going to go with the magical, mystical type, like scariness instead of just like a pitch dark scariness, I think the way they did it was actually pretty smart. And I don't know. I think they did a decent job.
Anyway,
and the spiders were definitely creepy.
Yeah, but also
definitely,
like when. You know, when the Tariel or Evangeline Lilly comes in and is like rescuing Killy, like honestly, like Peter Jackson like pretty much did slow motion. Like he didn't, but like you could see that it was like slow motion. Like the hair was flying and Killy's like goggly eyed. You know.
Are you talking about like when she jumps and like shoots it in midair and then like lands on their heads or something?
Yeah, and then he's like, "What?" Killy's like
so
watching
cheesy.
her like,
yeah.
So hot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my
It was
goodness.
so basic.
And like, if you're gonna get a girl to play Tariel, like, why Evangeline Lilly? Like why? Like that is. I mean, she
Oh,
shows.
she looked like an elf.
Okay, besides that, like, she had no facial expression whatsoever. She had
That's
nothing,
true.
Yeah.
nothing to that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, her curious face was also her, like, confused face. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh, man. Just stick to Ant-Man where you belong. Okay. Also, the Elven Palace, I thought that was kind of cool, but also, like, where were all the elves? Like,
Yeah, it's true. There was like 3 elves.
same thing with Rivendell, too. There's, like, 0 elves. Like,
It's
come
because
on,
they.
guys. Like, the elven costumes are expensive, I guess. And I'm sure they used a butt ton of CGI, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few elves once they're like finally on the river, but like not actually in their kingdom.
Like, no. And you're like,
Yep.
yeah, like, Thronda Wells like, it's the best kingdom ever. And you're like, need some stuff.
Very powerful, and we have a giant festival going on right now. We see nobody.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally nothing. And like Thranduil too, like, come on, people. Like, the hair, really? Like, come on. And then like he tilts his head weird, and you're like, who is this creep? You know? Oh man.
Mm-hmm. I feel like this was kind of different from the movie as well, or from the book as well. It was different on the movie. I feel like in the book they were a little bit more like less human and a little bit more almost like animalish kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in the movie, in the book, I mean, they're more like silly and sing-song kind of things, but Peter Jackson didn't really do that.
Yeah, but like they didn't really. I mean, like they didn't really have like human intelligence almost. Like they did, but like it was a little bit different. Like you know how you can just like.
No,
I
I
don't
think
know,
I think they did.
in the book.
All right, well, have you started Lord of the Rings yet? No. Well, I think in Lord of the Rings, so
Oh.
it'll be good.
Yeah, I
But
tried.
everything-
they're
I should
wiser
just
than
stop
men.
talking
They're higher
because-
than men.
How can you talk about the Hobbit when you haven't read
You
Lord of
need
the Rings?
context,
My bad.
bro. You need context.
Context that happens after.
Context.
Dude, I just started
But,
Lord
like,
of the Rings
dude-
again. I am bored out of my mind.
Dude,
Oh, I
I
haven't
started
even
Lord of the Rings
started it.
again, and I fell in love with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, you said that.
Oh,
Cooper
yeah.
texted us the other day. He goes, "Just started Lord of the Rings. I'm in love."
I didn't quite say it like that, but
Well,
It's
basically.
it read like that.
It was basically like that. Basically,
I don't love that stupid barrel sin.
yeah. They just had to put some other action type thing in there. Something to keep
was
you
kinda funny,
interested,
though.
I guess it was pretty.
Legolas is
When
just like
Bomber-
the perfect
I
human
mean, yeah,
the
they're
whole
just, like-
time.
And like, do the barrel scene and add the orc chase, but like, don't have Bomber pop out of the water, keep rolling, destroy like 10 orcs, pop out,
break
be, like,
break a
this-
barrel,
Oh,
then perfectly
also-
land in another one.
Yes, but there
Barrels
was no
are
extra
joke.
one.
You cannot do that.
There was no extra barrel.
There was
Yeah,
no
right?
extra one. Yeah.
There
Yeah,
wasn't.
that's right.
Yeah,
He opted into a barrel. Like, where'd that come from?
Oh my
yeah, there was
gosh.
only that one, or there was literally
This is
none.
this is the
Not
biggest
even for
thing
Bilbo.
Cooper's been waiting to talk about on here. Is the barrel
I mean-
scene.
Like, my favorite scene is when he like pops out his arms and he's like holding things, you know?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
he like
He all of a
twirls
sudden has a
around like a
weapon in his
ballerina. Yeah, he's all of a sudden has a weapon, and you're like,
Yeah, because they took all their weapons when they took him to jail. So.
yeah, right. They have the thing. Besides that one weapon that they finally lose. You know,
Yeah.
when they get an orc, and then you're like, oh my god. And then,
That makes no sense.
Matthew, do you still have any respect left?
I told you the parts I respect. You haven't bashed those yet.
So Luke Evans, huh? That dude is a man. Like, I like him as a bard, but seriously, though.
I mean,
Yeah, like I think it's just anybody else to play bard. I think so. The movies they kind of add a lot more of bard than the book does. Do you like that decision? Why do you think they did that?
Yeah, I like him a lot.
oh yeah, Bard
Like,
is
do you
awesome.
like the decision to include him?
Oh,
Why do you think they made it?
Because I don't know. They just didn't want to keep it the same as the book, you know.
Yeah, that's right. They're like, Tolkien barely has bard.
Let's change as much as we can. I think that was their goal.
Yeah, I mean, they succeeded.
Yeah.
I give them 10 out of 10 for that. Also, yeah, so when Thranduil and Legolas, like, interrogating the orc, I wonder in, like, these movies, they're, like, impromptu interrogating this guy, or they, like, like put the guy in the middle and like 5 minutes like brainstorming questions in the back, like what do we ask this guy? What do we ask him? You know?
Oh
Instead
yeah,
of-
when they all like huddle up.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
like,
it was
they're
all
like asking this orc questions and like showing what those on the spot. That was pretty hot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. But then he's like, let's keep the orc alive. We need a question. And then Dad kills him right away.
Yeah.
What's the point in that?
So Lake Town, huh? Lake Town was pretty sweet. I thought. I liked Lake Town.
Dude,
Yeah, definitely.
I love the master's apprentice or whatever his name or whatever he
Oh,
is.
Alfred.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think he's a really interesting character. We can go ahead and talk about him. I don't like what they did with him in Battle of the Five Armies. So I like him, and I think he's a great like petty. Like he is the definition of petty, like villain.
Yeah, definitely.
Petty villain. But,
Oh yeah, well, because I mean, yeah, Peter Jackson's gonna do like the stereotypical everybody.
right.
You know,
He's
if
either
he's
got,
gonna
like,
make a character, it's gonna be like the
either-
stereotypical
you're right.
character of
the
that character.
stereotypical pure evil, or the petty villain guy who's gonna like
Mhm.
knock over kids' snowmen or something like that. You know, like that is Peter Jackson. But I guess we're going to talk about him in Battle of Five Armies. It's like at the end of Battle of the Five Armies, like he runs away, and that's the last we see of him. You know, I don't like that decision. You've made Alfred. He's an interesting character. Like at least in my version. Yeah.
Wait, oh, you don't see him die?
No, you don't see him die.
Oh,
I mean, I watched
extended
the
edition.
regular version. Do you see he does die?
In
in the
extended edition, he gets eaten by like a giant org or whatever.
Wait, actually,
It's pretty funny.
Okay, that ending's way better. But
He tries running, gets catapult. He's hiding on top of a catapult. I don't know why. Like he's literally just sitting on
he's
the
heading
thing.
on top of a catapult.
Literally,
Genius.
I'm not kidding. And he's holding a ton of coins. He drops one. It sets the catapult off, and it gets launched straight into the mouth of like a giant troll.
What an
That's awful.
that's so, I told you, stereotypical. It's a cartoon live action.
It is like Alfred is a cartoon character, and the barrel scene is cartoon. This is
Exactly.
a cartoonish movie. Like the Hobbit actually succeeds. Like it's a kid's book, but it has a lot of action.
Yeah.
These movies are like
Cartoons with live action characters
Exactly, I
and
guess.
somewhat mediocre editing.
right
and
and weird,
somewhat
lighting.
mediocre CGI. Weird
Right.
lighting, yeah.
Weird editing. I mean, it's just, like we talked about the barrel scene. Like they don't keep track of like anything, you know.
No, they
With
yeah,
the
no.
weapons and the barrels.
There's the weapons, extra barrels that weren't there. Then
And
like
Legolas
somehow
never like changes his look or looks any different or like hurt, you know.
Yeah,
but like I was saying, Legolas is literally just like the stereotypical perfect person. Like, how do you
and
even,
he's
he's
so
vision.
perfect.
He's vision.
Gravity doesn't even apply to him.
I know he's vision in Age of Ultron. He's just like, too
Pick up
perfect.
Thor's hammer.
Yeah,
Even the ladies are like, "Wow, I wish I had his hair." You know.
yeah. Like,
Although his hair did look a little gray, I will say. Yeah.
And I would have
also-
chosen Killy over him any day.
Oh no, Feely is the real dude. All right, let me tell you that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like, gotta be honest.
That's
So
true.
in the and then
Cooper.
behind the scene, though, they were talking about all the dwarves, I guess, when they were in character, because they all look really different when they're not like in makeup and costume and stuff.
yeah.
But they were like, Killy is the boy band dwarf. But I was like, I think Philly is kind of hot too. But anyway.
They all have stereotypes.
Yeah, they do. I mean, that's what they had to do. And
Well,
and
that's
some of them
true.
are good, some of them are
That was
bad.
kind of like that in the book too, as well.
Not really. I mean, you had like three dwarfs. Like one dwarf was the guy who let Bilbo fall down a chasm, and the other guy was like, the guy who wouldn't let Bilbo up the tree or something.
Well, yeah,
like
but they all
that.
had their when you first got introduced to them at the beginning of the Hobbit, they all had their like one trait.
One sentence.
The funny thing
Exactly.
is, I think it takes longer to watch all of the Hobbit movies than it does to read the whole book.
Oh,
The
definitely.
Hobbit? No, not the Hobbit. Lord of the Rings, yes, not the Hobbit. I think you can read the Hobbit faster.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what I'm
so.
saying.
That's
You can
what-
read the
exactly
Hobbit
what he just
faster.
Oh. Oops. Okay. Oh, so then
I was like, what?
so then they like get transported to inside the toilet of Bard's house. And then
oh yeah.
Balin's like, to be in
Wait, how did they get there again?
Sewers.
Well, Bard took him on his boat. And they got hidden.
I remember they were like in barrels with fish.
Right, and then they got
for them to sneak into his house because he found out that his house was being watched or whatever. They had to swim up the sewer drains and in the toilet.
But it wasn't really a drain. It was just the water, really.
Yeah, but I mean,
At least we think it was water.
It's true.
Matthew, are you sure you weren't asleep during this?
No.
Well,
Okay.
I mean,
Was I, Isaiah? I don't know.
It was a very long movie.
Yeah, I'm sure the extended edition of this one is like insanely long. All right.
Yeah. Oh my
Longer
gosh, it is.
than the normal version of Lord of the Rings.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Bala interprets Thorin's feelings. He has another flashback. The men and dwarves are insulting each other, and then they Then they confront the
Nice.
master, and they're like, I mean, Lake Town has more people than the Elven Kingdom does. Just gonna be honest. And
Yeah.
they're all like, the tapestry and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. Let's give ahead to the good stuff. All right, so they're leaving for the mountain, and then Keely obviously gets left behind. One of the
Actually, a
other
few of
dwarves
them
stays
do.
behind. Right, like 4 of them do.
Well, actually,
And-
because Philly stays behind with him too.
Right, exactly. And then there's the guy who was, I think it was Biffer or Bofer, who was
Yeah, the guy
eating,
who was just like
and
eating.
was like,
Yeah.
he forgot. Shouldn't have drinking that last sip of wine, boy. But and then the guy who stays with the sick or whatever, and they stay behind. So that's again differing from the book. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. Who actually stays behind in the book?
Nobody.
Nobody. Yeah,
Oh,
they all
just
go.
Killy.
No, nobody does.
Nope.
Remember
Wait,
that? They
oh,
didn't- that
seriously?
happened in the book. Yeah, Killy
Remember,
I did
was
not
the
know.
hero.
Killy
For some
didn't
reason,
get
I
hit
thought
because
Killy
there was
chased.
no river.
The barrel.
like a barrel
There was no
ride.
barrel chase.
Oh,
The
you're
barrel
right.
Was uneventful.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I will say in the book, like they never have a full on confrontation with Smaug. It's kind of like we talked about in those glorious Hobbit book episodes that we did. That Tolkien kind of
Those are
skims off the battle scenes,
Hmm.
which Peter Jackson and Tolkien. I feel like if Tolkien worked with Peter Jackson, these movies would have
It'd
been
be
better because
way
Tolkien would have
different.
been like, okay, let's not add that stupid barrel chase scene, and then Peter Jackson is like, let me make this scene with Smaug to be pretty epic and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, Tolkien died. Rest in
Oh yeah,
peace.
like basically half of the second movie wouldn't be there if it was Tolkien
right,
doing
exactly,
it.
and it would have been just 2 Hobbit movies. We
Yeah,
would have
because
had
isn't like
the best
one of
parts.
his main things in Lord of the Rings that dwarves and elves hate each other or whatever?
Kind of, yeah, the feud, and
Yeah,
that
and
is
then-
apparent. And we didn't talk about. There was that one scene that I absolutely like, the worst scene I think in all of these, where Killy and Tariel are talking, in the jail cell, and he's,
Oh,
trying to
and she
flirt
gives him
with
a
her.
rock or whatever.
No, he loses the rock, and then she gets the rock, and then she's like, "Are you reckless?" He's like, "Nah." Then the rock flies out of his hand, and she catches it, and then she's trying to look like, and then she's like, "I'm confused. Why am I here?" And he's like, "It's bad."
For someone
Also-
who claims she has no facial expression, you seem to read her pretty well.
No, I'm saying the fact I know what she was trying to do. That's pretty evident. But what she is doing is also very evident, which is the bad thing. Also, if you listen to those Hobbit episodes, you hear Tanner say that one of his favorite parts from this movie is the walk up to the mountain from Lake Town.
Not that
when they
not
were
that we're
looking-
suggesting you go listen to those.
No, but if you, we can't stop you. But if you do, you can listen to Tanner say that.
You can also make sure to not judge us for our first episodes.
And also, yeah, it's true. It
Yeah,
also
keep
is our
listening.
most
Keep
downloaded
listening.
episode,
They get
so-
better.
Yeah, they get
Yeah.
better. Also, so Peter Jackson, again, we've talked about, it's so cheesy, so dramatic. He's a slow-mo guy, just gonna be honest. But at
He's
the
a
top of
slow-
the mountain, where they're doing the key, I mean, he kicks the key off the mountain almost, and then how did Thorn get up there?
Oh
that
my
fast?
gosh.
I mean,
Yeah, it has to.
Put
Everything has to be
key
dramatic.
in the door.
Dude, we're almost running out of time. I think we need to go. We need to talk about the end with
You're right.
Smaug.
You're right. So
Because at this
Smaug.
point, when they're about to enter it with the moonlight or whatever, there's still 30 minutes left in the movie.
yeah, it's insane. The battle of between Smaug and I will say.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite
Speaking of
chapters in The
drama.
Hobbit, yeah, when Bilbo was kind of talking to Smaug, They did that okay in here. Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's the part I was saying I respected. What?
Benedict Cumberbatch did the voice for Smaug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who's that?
Doctor Strange.
Oh, I did know that actually.
Yeah, and
I didn't know that was his name, but
yeah, you didn't know that was his name. Dude, it's like an awesome name. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, I'm gonna remember it
Peter
now.
Piper picked a pick of Pepples and Cumberbatch or whatever. That's pretty. That was kind of stupid. I'll cut that out.
I'm so confused at what I just heard.
You forgot pickled. You're not deleting that.
I'm not deleting the Cumberbatch thing.
That. No, you're leaving.
Anyways, hey, we gotta get going, guys. We got like 3 minutes.
So Smaug, this scene throughout the movie they try to make it more mystical, more like woozy, I guess you could say, more like entranced, like how like
intense, kind of like on the edge of your seat.
Well, I was also talking about how the gold like tempts Thorn and turns him. It's a very visual thing in the movie where it's not really in the book,
Gotcha.
But yeah, the Smaug.
Yeah, well,
Smaug,
I think the part that I was saying I respected is when Bilbo's talking with Smaug.
Yeah, it's a fun scene. Yeah. I like that scene better than the actual battle scene
because it's like it's the part that I won't fall asleep during because it's like kind of anticipating and like intense,
right?
Almost like stressful.
I will say this is a good addition. When they fight with Smaug, that is a good addition to the movie, right? I think even Tolkien would have agreed to do that, right? Tolkien would.
Right, of course, it's all very lucky. It's all very lucky and cartoon as well, but. It's definitely interesting. That's the part that whenever Smaug's in the movie, I'm not going to fall asleep. That's why I respect it.
Exactly.
Which there are movies that I'm not going to fall asleep at all, and I obviously respect those more. But
my favorite part is when Smaug's about to blast flame, his belly heats up and it goes up his throat. I thought that was actually really cool CGI.
Oh, like you can see through all his scales and see it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So one last thing, real fast, before we end. So the scenes in Dol Guldur with, Gandalf and stuff like that.
I like the spooky town.
Yeah, spooky town. I like the battle with Sauron. Again, they're really kind of setting the stage for Lord of the Rings here, right? With Sauron and stuff like that.
Definitely. Yeah.
And stuff they really didn't go into the book. This stuff I also sometimes don't mind the addition because it actually happens in canon, even though it didn't happen in the book.
Gandalf actually had a couple battles in Spooky Town.
Right.
Sauron, that's the guy that looks like he's the eyeball, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. And it was really weird. I mean, it was a cool piece, but I don't know if I liked it or not, where the eye is coming, and then the black pupil of the eye becomes the actual figure of Sauron, and then it's multiple dimensions that just keep coming at you. My eyes ask you to stop, please.
Yeah. No, I kind of like that actually.
Yeah.
But I was also gonna say, then he also has this little almost fist fight or knife fight little thing with Thorne's dad, right? Like the crazed Thorne's
the
dad.
gold.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
That was weird. The whole thing, if you just read it on it, or not read it, watch it without actually reading Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna be saying this a lot. It won't
that would make no sense.
At all.
Which that's why it made no sense to me. But I was like, wow, that guy's under the influence of gold.
Yes, that's for sure. That's a good T-shirt right there.
It's not.
One last thing. What was I gonna say? I forgot. All right. So then, let's just summarize our thoughts real fast. What do you guys overall thoughts?
Let's rate it.
After thoughts. At the end of thoughts, rate it. Oh, Isaiah, you went first.
Oh, okay. I thought it was good. Basically, half of the movie was pointless, though. It was entertaining, like you guys have been saying, but just why with adding all this stuff to it, everything about a whole love story. Blah,
that is
blah,
my
blah.
one question. Yeah.
It's stupid. And,
agreed. I liked the last half hour of it.
Yeah, which is essentially just this fight with Smaug.
Yeah,
the actual
in the
part
credits.
From some of the part from the book. So.
Also, I like the Ed Sheeran in credits scene.
all
song,
the parts.
Oh yeah, or in credits song.
And all the parts with Bard were pretty good too.
Yeah, Bard's pretty hot. I'm talking about
That's
more
fair.
next time.
Yeah, I did like them sneaking in with the fish barrels. Of course, that was also overly dramatized when like they lifted up one fish and his face was right there, and then they didn't see him and put the fish back down. Whatever.
Oh, also, Isaiah, you got to rate it out of 1 in an unspecified number of barrels. That's pretty good. Come on.
Unspecified number.
Okay, let's just do 1 in 12. 1 in 12. How many barrels out of 12?
I'd give it like a probably 7 because it was
7.
entertaining.
Yeah, I like that. Matthew, what about you?
6.
6? Wow. Am I gonna? I have to rank it lower than Matthew's. Actually, let me get my thoughts real fast. So honestly, I feel like this movie was meant to be the last Hobbit movie, and then they were like, "Oh crap, it's gonna be too long. What do we do? Add a love story." Parts of it are good. The fight scenes are pretty good. Besides
No,
the
that's
barrel
why
scene.
it was too long.
Wait, I thought you said it was supposed to be the final movie.
It was
not
supposed to
you
be
thought
3. Yeah, it was. But I'm
Oh.
saying what I think is they thought it was going to be the final movie, and then they're
It was
like,
like-
"Oh, wait, we need another movie."
It was like our unexpected journey episodes. We
Right.
thought we were gonna need 2, and then we really like did a lot in the
Should've
first one, and then
condensed
had a
more,
very
right.
short second one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. And then we were like, then if I had known that it would have been like this, I would have gone back and I would have trimmed it a little bit more and cut out all the stuff that wasn't that important, which I think they should have done, just left out the love story. But
Definitely.
anyway, I'll give it. I have to rank it lower than Matthew, so I'll give it 5. If I was being honest, I would have given it.
Dude,
7,
I usually
but since
try to be
Matthew
the
rated it 6,
lowest.
I give it 5. Well,
I
I'm
didn't think
last,
you were gonna be
so you're not. Anyway, do some donor shoutouts real fast. We'll you
We
say
can't do dwarfs again.
yeah. I say the name. You say a really cool orc or place name that Tolkien made up. Okay.
Oh.
All right, Isaiah. Nolan Killingsworth.
What was the name? Balog or whatever.
Balrog.
One of the orcs. Yeah, that guy.
Balrog is like the Balrog.
Yeah.
There's bold.
That's
you
fine.
mean bold. The ugly guy. He means bold. Whatever. Matthew,
Oh,
your
yeah,
dad,
that's his name.
Mr. Mark Killingsworth.
Azog the Defiler.
True facts. Matthew's dad has scars on his face inflicted by himself.
What?
And a hook. No. no, really, he doesn't.
Okay. And I'll give myself, Isaiah's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Raetsky. They can be Dol Guldur and Erebor. All right. Well, if you want to become a donor, please go to patreon.com/thescreening. You sign up for $5 or more a month. You get donor shout-outs. Make sure you rate and review us. And we'll be doing Star Wars soon. So until next time.
Oh yeah, this has been The Screening.